for the last topic, I said we talk about 2 topics. I said we talk about the Bible and relationship and the Bible's view on dressing. So, but before we do that, let us just recap on the Bible's view on relationship. First, we said that, who can give a recap? Not Elizabeth. Mary, you can follow the board. Or Mr. Adeshino, can you give us a recap of the Bible and relationship that we just talked about? Okay, Ebube, please tell us the Bible.
Elizabeth reminded us of the most important commandments that Jesus left behind. Love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your heart. All your soul. Love yourself, love your neighbor as yourself. So we're reminded that if you don't love God and love yourself, then you can't love other people. And that unity is important in building relationships. And that God intended for marriage to be between a man and a woman.
Thank you. Who else has a recap to add to that?
I remember you mentioned also that in our corporate environment, we should live peaceably with everyone. We should avoid strife as much as we can. We follow peace with all men, either believers or non-believers.
Thank you very much. So basically, that is what we just covered in, the Bible and relationship. Love God, love yourself, and then you can love your neighbors. And every relationship has to be that unity should exist because two cannot work together except agree. And there should be a purpose for every relationship. And you should add value. Every relationship should add value. Either you're giving or you're adding value in every relationship. Whether it's to your boss, to your colleagues, your friend, or your husband. It shouldn't be that, okay, I'm married. You should help each other in every relationship. And so now we'll talk about the Bible's view on dressing. We know it's summertime here in Hungary, Budapest, so we're going to be talking about how to dress modestly, even when it is not hottest, even though they say it's when it's hottest. So first, what is the purpose of dressing? Why do we dress up?
To cover our nakedness.
To cover our nakedness, that's why we dress up. Who else can give the reason for why we dress up?
Sleep.
To sleep. That's the modern colloquial to be fashionable.
Sleep.
The slave. Emmanuel, thanks for joining us. So, what do you think is the purpose of dressing?
To look good, to cover nakedness, to be presentable.
Presentable. Okay. Mary? To protect yourselves. Good. True. Because when God was taking Adam and Eve out of Eden, He gave them good protection as well as covering their nakedness because of animal skin. So it's also for protection as well. So when is dressing immodest? When is dressing not modest? So the purpose of dressing is to cover our nakedness. So what does being immodest mean? When we dress immodest, does it mean that we are naked? Or what do you think? Emmanuel, what do you think?
So for there to be an immodest dressing, that's the opposite of that is a modest dressing. So first, I think we need to define what immodest dressing is.
Okay.
For us to understand what an immodest dressing is.
So what do you think is modest dressing?
Alright, like any dressing that does not offend, quote unquote, the viewer, and also does not draw someone to lust over you. What we can tag as being presentable by in a godly standard.
Aditi, what do you think? When is dressing immodest?
It is when we don't dress for the main purpose of being dressed. I don't know, we're just throwing something that's practically should then go there.
Okay, alright. Mr. Michael, what do you think about when is dressing immodest?
When you
idea of dressing is
Not fulfilled.
it's not fulfilled. Yeah, I mean, basically.
So when we're not covering our nakedness.
Yeah, for me, it's primarily the fact that we're not covering our nakedness as is expected, particularly as Christians. So, because the definition of immodest depends on where we are looking at it from, from this. As Christians, we must not allow the society to define what is modest or what is not modest. If we use the society as a measure, we may not find anything wrong. But when you're talking about God, the Bible, particularly as far as this club is concerned, what does the Bible say as a Christian? I mean, regarding my dressing. So by the time we are now doing contrary to that, it's immodest.
Mrs. Ols, what do you think about dressing or maybe Mrs. Anna Maria?
Úgy gondolom, hogy fölöltözve is lehet vetközni.
I think it's a bit difficult to translate, but even if someone is dressed, she can be like naked, even with clothes on.
With clothes on.
Tehát attól függ, hogy ki
So
van belül.
it depends on you, who you are inside.
Ez fogja igazán eldönteni, hogy öltözködsz.
Because that will determine how you will dress.
Isten adott nekünk szabad akaratot és lelkiismeretet.
God gave us both free will and a conscience.
És fogjuk tudni azt, hogy mi jó és mi nem.
And by these we will know what is modest and what is not.
Nyilván kell tudni azt, hogy ha van férjem, akkor úgy öltözködjek, úgy éljek, úgy viselkedjek, mint aki nem másnak akar tetszeni. Tehát nem kell visszataszítóak legyünk. Szerintem.
So, for me as a wife, I should think, dress in a way that I'm not trying to please someone, outside.
Outside you.
That's important. But that's within marriage. There was something else, sorry.
Nem tudom. Mi egyedülállókkal is foglalkozunk.
One ministry we do that's not connected with CLC is that we work with singles.
És azt szoktam mondani a lányoknak, hogy legyél olyan, mint aki várja a vőlegényét.
And I usually tell the girls that be a person be a girl who is expecting her husband, yes.
Tehát a mennyasszonynak van fátla, van fátla, nem teszi ki magát más férfinek,
shows out to other men,
de megmutatja, hogy ő egy nő.
but still
Tehát, hogy
she can
lány.
show that she's a woman, a girl.
Tehát nem slampos, nem igénytelen, ápolt.
One who is who cares for herself properly, not lazy.
Yeah, exactly.
És egy férfi sem kell igénytelen legyen
And
azért,
even
mert férfi.
with men, men shouldn't be lazy in their dressing.
Exactly. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So I think I agree with what everyone has said, because firstly, we have to, the purpose of dressing is to cover our nakedness. You have to know the Bible's view on dressing. And like she said, it should be, what is your motive? Like the last point is, you have to check your motive. Why are you dressing the way that you're dressing? You shouldn't dress to please other people, like she rightly said. You shouldn't be, oh, I'm dressing so that this guy will look at me, or so that this girl will look at me, or so my boss or my colleagues. No, it shouldn't be, because your body is the temple of God, and you should dress to glorify God. Like it says in 1 Corinthians 10:31, whatever you do, even beyond dressing, it should be to the glory of God. Because God has created you to show forth His glory, to showcase His glory to the world. So even your dressing, when they see you, first of all, what they see is your dressing. And so that should glorify God. That should take them to God at least. And in 1 Timothy, verse 9, all that you do should be modest as well. You shouldn't be too unnecessarily extravagant. Of course, the wealth and riches of the world He gives to us. But it shouldn't be that you're doing it to be boastful, to just show off. You should be modest in whatever it is that you do. Okay, we'll look at a short clip talking about modest dressing.
A lot of times when people think about modesty, they think about this. But really, modesty can be, you can be creative, you can reinvent yourself, right? Like, you can be innovative with the way you dress. It can be whatever you make it, as long as you are giving it to the Lord. Like, it's pretty much saying, God, like, my body belongs to you, and I want to honor you in that. Like, I don't want to just honor you and going to church and serving in ministries, but I want to honor you on a day-to-day level with my body and with my dress.
Whatever you do, it's not saying that you shouldn't be creative or you should be so modest to the point where you lose your sense of creativity, because God is a God of creativity. He created us, and so that gift and that ability to create is already inside of us, and we demonstrate that through our dressing sometimes. But it should always be to the glory of God. You shouldn't be creative with your dressing and still be very modest. So now I think it's time for, does anyone have any contributions that they want to add?
I have a contribution. If we look at Numbers chapter 6, verse 24, the Lord caused His face to shine upon you, because He will cause His countenance to be with you. So, if the Lord is causing His countenance and His face to shine upon you, it means when people see your face spiritually, they're actually seeing God. So, now, you changing your face, putting, I'm not against makeup, by the way. Putting everything, putting all those things, then whoever is looking at you might be mistaking the face like, is this the face of God? So we should be really, really conscious about that. We're praying for favor, we're praying God be with me wherever I go, let me receive favor, let me have open doors. And then we invoke directly or indirectly that verse where God calls His countenance to be upon you. So people are seeing your face, and when they see your face, they see God. Now, when God is on your face and then your dressing is like from someone in the club, so it's now a mixed message. You have the countenance of God on your face, and then you have the dressing of someone who is just coming from the club or wherever, and then it becomes confusing. And then, unfortunately, we are all ambassadors. We are like the last Jesus most people will see. So if we don't dress appropriately like Christ's ambassadors, we definitely are doing a disservice to God. Not really now about us, we're actually bringing His representation and disgrace to God's name.
I think I agree with that. There's one quote that this musician says, he said, "We are the Jesus that people see." So when they see you, they're not going to see how kind you are. They're not going to see your gifts of prophecy or healing. They're going to see you, first of all, your appearance. So I think it's very important that we dress to glorify God. Now it's time for questions. So this question is, it will be based on the presentations, and it can be any question about the Bible that you want answers to. So ask the question. You can write down. I hope you've written some questions. If you've written some questions, you can give me to read it out, or you can read it out yourself. You have a question? Yes.
Does dressing determine if you are a sinner or not? Like when it comes to the wrong dressing aspect, does it determine if you are a sinner or not?
Okay. Who wants to answer
What was the
that?
question, sorry?
Does dressing determine whether when you dress wrongly, does it determine whether you are a sinner or not? If you dress wrongly.
My answer to that, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, is that you are unable, as human beings, we are unable to give what we don't have. So if you don't have it in you, if you don't have righteousness in you, you won't look like a righteous person. Therefore, if we turn it the other way around, if you look like someone living in sin, definitely that's what's in your heart. There are no two ways about it. They say in the Bible that the Israelites did not dress like the Egyptian women. So, as a Christian, you shouldn't dress like those in the world. And unfortunately, it is so difficult these days to really understand those dressings in the church. So many people dressed in the church and they look like they are in the world. So if you, coming back to your question, if you dress in a way that looks like you're in the world, if you search your heart properly, you are definitely in the world, one way or the other. Because you can't give what you don't have. You only do what's in your mind. Your expression is a reflection of what's inside you.
Who has any other answer to that question? For me, I think that, okay, Samuel.
I just want to add quickly to what Mr. Additional said, that we should also not be we shouldn't get carried away. That about how people, because people, it's easy to pretend outwardly, but really, normally changes from inside out. So for any regenerated person on the inside, like he said, it will show on the outside. So you do not dress to become a Christian. It is who you are on the inside that shows. So dress is one of the fruits, one of the things we'll see that will make us to judge who you are. So when you see a tree and you are not sure what kind of tree it is, you check the fruit on the tree. So when you see the fruit on the tree, you can say surely it's a mango tree because that's a mango fruit. So it is, like you said, if you now begin to dress anyhow on the outside, you can trace it back to your inside. But to avoid hypocrisy, we don't want to say dress this way, that you cannot force it from outside. It is forced from the inside.
Praise the Lord. Yeah, thank you very much. Well, since this is a Bible club and we're trying to see the connection, I want to thank you, particularly the contribution for Tyler's, from Tyler's point of view. In Exodus chapter 2, because the incidents or the example he cited, it's also similar to what happened to Moses when he flew Egypt while he was in an Egyptian's dressing. So when he helped the father-in-law's daughter, let's read in Exodus chapter 2, verses 18. Exodus 2, verse 18. No, starting from verse 16. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and they filled the trough. I'm reading from New King James Version. To water their father's flock. Then the shepherd came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. So when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, "How is it that you have come so soon today?" And they said, "And Egyptians delivered us from the hand of the shepherd, and he also drew enough water for us and watered the flock." So how did the children, the daughters, how did they know that Moses was an Egyptian? Because of the way he dressed. But was Moses really an Egyptian? Really? No. All right. He flew Egypt because he tried to show himself that, look, I may dress like an Egyptian, but I'm not an Egyptian. All right. So that led him into the wilderness. And the children of Reuel saw him and said, "Oh, he's an Egyptian." All right. So going by your question and also this issue of dressing, the way we dress, people will judge us by the way we dress. You understand? So if you say you are a Christian, you need to dress modestly. All right, the issue of dressing is quite subtle, because the fact that you dress like a Christian does not mean you are a Christian. That's the other way. I mean, we must look at it. All right. So then the third thing is culture. There are some people who are not Christian, they are not religious, but their culture encourages modest dressing. All right. For example, if you are not a Christian, you are not a Muslim, and you are living in the Arab world, come on, you dare don't do all this naked stuff, because you are conscious of the environment. All right. To them, if you are a Christian, and even you go with your own dressing there, they will tell you are not a godly person. You understand now? So it's so complex, and at the same time subtle. All right. So, but with the Spirit of God in us, we'll be able to know what is right or what is wrong. That's just it. There's no you must. This is how you must dress. At least from what we've gathered today, regardless of whether you are over dressing or underdressing, it must at least cover your nakedness. You get the picture. And don't use dressing as a yardstick for whether somebody is a Christian or not. Okay? Does that settle in your heart? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, all the people that answered. Is there any other answer to the question? Does anyone want to answer? Would you like to answer? Or is there anything you'd like to answer?
Just one short sentence, maybe, just connecting to Pastor Michael, that it's very cultural. Sometimes it's kind of Christian subculture. And I saw that Bible verse previously about modest apparel and how women should dress. And I know churches where it was forbidden to wear jewelry.
Jewelry, yeah.
Some decades ago, maybe there are still. And it's like if you wear even the
wedding ring, exactly.
Secular.
Exactly.
It's a word, yeah. And a lady should wear this long or covered in
hair. And high heel shoe and
and they do quite a while.
Yes.
It's not that people are secular, worldly because of what they think.
Oh, right.
Yes, that's true. You're like you all said, it is not your dressing that determines whether you're a Christian or not. And it's not, so it's from your heart. Why are you doing what you're doing? Because even when you're praying and doing any other thing, why are you doing it? Why are you serving God? Why are you coming to church? Why are you here? So everything goes back to our motive. Okay, so I have another question here. Can a guy dress immodestly? Is it possible for a guy to dress immodestly? Because guys dressing is basic. So, but is it possible for them to dress immodestly? Yes. Okay. How? I think that's the next question.
I think.
Are you a guy?
It's alright. But you can answer.
Yes, I think a guy can dress modest, like the trousers. Some guys actually. Normally, I believe your trousers should be at your waistband, and that's why we have a belt. Keep balance. But when a guy is putting it on your bum bum, I think it's
and exposing his underwear.
Yes, exposing. Normally, we are not supposed to see your underwear, but we are seeing it. So definitely, that's immodest.
That's true. Does anyone object to that? I think if you're exposing your underwear as well for a guy.
And for me, again, I look at it like this. It's those in the prison. Most times, they don't give them belts. Just to be protective so that they will not cause any injury through the iron of the belt. So most times, that's why we see those in the prison sagging. So I believe when you are sagging, it's just like a prisoner. You don't have belts. That's why you're sagging. So I think it's not really decent.
All right. In Deuteronomy chapter 22, I'm sure most of us know this passage, part of the law, because if we say we are focusing, relating this discussion with Torah, we should at least hear what the law says. In Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5, a woman shall not wear anything that pertains to a man, nor should a man put on a woman's garments. For all who do so are an abomination to your God. So it's so simple. Yes, although you may think that the idea of trousers here, for me, when the designer designs a trouser that is for female, all right, it is wrong for a boy to wear such trouser. I mean, if going by your question, I mean by this question, and that is what's that word again? Immodest. When a designer designs a cloth, they write it there. If it is unisex, fine. You know, there are some clothes that are unisex. So when you know that, okay, this is for female, and you wear it, come on. Even others will like,
Like cross-dressing.
How do you mean?
Cross-dressing.
Yes, cross-dressing. I mean, because to really go by what the law says here, although some went to the extreme or do go to the extreme of saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that, but let's just try and bring it down to a generation, all right? For me, I don't have any issue with a woman wearing a female tailored dressing. You understand? That I don't have any issue with. But when a particular dress is for a female and a Christian male wears it, then we should ask questions. It's vice versa. When a dressing is tailored for a man and a woman wears it, although sometimes my wife wears my t-shirt when we are home, it's different. You know, but please, let's be careful of these little things and not too much rule. I mean, you know, we don't just put unnecessary rules on ourselves, and at the same time, we shouldn't be that loose, all right, just to balance it.
Yes, because I also think that it's very important how you dress, because if you start dressing like, if for a guy, if you start saying it's okay to wear female clothing, what's next? You're going to start talking like a woman. Yeah. You're going to start walking like a woman. And before you know it, you start saying that you've been born to be a certain
and effeminate, you know, and the Bible is against effeminate.
Yeah, so you shouldn't take things for granted. You shouldn't say it's just dressing, it doesn't matter, because there's this adage in Nigeria, from clap you enter dance. When you start clapping to the song, you start dancing to the song. If you start dressing immodestly, you're going to start doing other immodest things. So it's very, very important. Does anyone have any other contributions to Kanigai dressing immodestly? I didn't have anything to add. Okay, so our next question is, how do we love those that are unbelievers and difficult in our workplace? How do we love those? When you have a very mean boss, your boss is just difficult. How do you love your boss that is very difficult? Or your colleague or your team member that has decided to make your life miserable in the office? How do you love such a person?
That is a tricky question because first of all, in corporate settings, you are not allowed to discuss religion. You are not allowed to mention Jesus. They can report you or fire you. But that you can't control. But what you can control is your attitude and the way you react. So there's a stimulus coming in. Your reaction to that stimulus is what you can control. So from my own personal experience, what I do is I try to be at peace with everybody. I try to be helpful. I'm always open, happy, smiling, encouraging everybody, till the extent that they can say, okay, this person is different. And then whatever they want to do, they say, if they want to have if there's a beef going on within the team and everybody is gossiping, they won't call me, because they know that I won't listen, I won't partake in the gossip, I won't partake in planning the downfall of somebody else. So your attitude towards everybody, even the person that hates or that hated me, that gave me a lot of problem, I always loved the person and I showed her that I love them. So that is how you can actually navigate in this kind of things. You really can't say, receive Jesus, accept Jesus. You might get fired. But your attitude and the way you behave and the way you interact with them, you are like the ambassador. This one you're doing indirect diplomacy. They see you, they know this person is different. Whenever they come to you, they get solutions. They know that they can always get help from you. And this is the kind of things we are being taught in the church, right? And that is how you behave in the workplace.
So, thank you very much for that contribution. I totally agree. So, the key is to resolve to be consistent in doing good and being at peace with all men. So, you're doing good to other people. It's not dependent, like you said earlier, transactional love. It's not dependent on what this person does or how nice or how difficult this person is being. I have resolved that I am going to be nice to you. I'm going to let the love of God in me flow through me to you. So that is my resolve. And so just to be consistent on that, that is one way. So is there any other way that we can?
I also remember what Lizzie said when we started on this, saying that we should also we should love God, and if you actually understand very well how God loved us, see why we were yet sinners. So God didn't love us because we are good or we were doing good to Him. No, He loved us when we were evil, when He shouldn't have loved us. So, like you said, this kind of love from God is what we show to people. So we are not expecting, not because they are good, but because God kind of love that does not expect anything in return. So we show to the green balls, to everybody, and it will flow through us with the help of the Holy Spirit.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
I mean, thank you very much, guys. That's very, very deep. I don't want us to overlook the fact that sometimes some situations can be very, very difficult. I mean, as Christians, this is when the test of our salvation actually comes out. Particularly in cases in cases where you were the victim of somebody's stupid behavior or carelessness or bitterness. Somebody just, I'm talking about corporate life now. Somebody just, your boss, he or she doesn't just like you. You're a child of God, Let's open to Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12. Chapter 1, 2, and 3. It's very popular. Renewal of our mind. This issue. Romans 12:1. We all know from verses 1 to 2. Now, from verses 3 up to the last verse, he was just trying to tell us how we should behave. Now, going by what's the question, verse 17 says, repay no one evil for evil. Have regard for good things in the sight of all men. Now, verse 18. If it is possible, as much as depends on you, live peaceably with all men. Beloved, do not avenge yourself, but rather give place to wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. We should pray for grace to live peaceably with all men. I have had cases, my own position, situations where somebody will say, Pastor, I don't think I can take this anymore. And he's a Christian. And I said, look, if you can't take it anymore, you should leave. Say, yes, that is what the Lord told him. You understand? That is what the Lord told you. So, I was thinking maybe the person wanted me to put the words in his mouth. But as in my own position, what the Lord told me, having listened to the narration and the discussion, and although I believed his testimony, because I never thought he was sugarcoating the whole thing. Because I've been in a corporate world before, and these things happen. Somebody just thought, your boss felt, look, I don't like you. I want to. Some will even tell you from our own environment back in Africa. They will say, look, I will put you down. That is terrifying. Here in Europe, you have the law that protects you. Your boss will not open his mouth to say that. If he says that, you've already won the case, and you have evidence. But a situation whereby he will not say anything. but you know that from his behavior or her behavior, this person doesn't like you or she doesn't like you, and you are a Christian. It's very difficult to live peaceable with that person. Probably after you must have even endure, and by the time you push somebody to the wall, that person has a natural tendency to bounce back. So instead of you to bounce back and get fired, you've prayed about it, you've been to counseling, you leave. But if you don't want to leave, because there's nowhere to go to, then you have to pray for the grace of God. Alright? But I believe God always is, and if it's not getting too much, I strongly believe God can unseat that person. I mean, He can unseat that person. God can move that person to another place so that you'll be able to have your peace. Because God doesn't delight in you being miserable. Alright? So, but may this not get to our relationship. Because if you get to our relationship, particularly marriage, you don't have any substitute for that. So may the Lord help us in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you very much. Who has anything to add? Emmanuel, do you have anything to add?
I think Pastor said it all. From where you read, I just had to read it again. I had to read it again to get some little idea, light into that. He said, "Beloved, do not avenge yourself, but rather, the thing is, if as possible, as it depends on you, So wisdom is profitable to direct. In this case, you find you are in an environment where it appears to be hostile for you. Wisdom demands that you find a way out of it. Either you find a way to confront the person and understand why that is. And if that's not the case, you move, as it depends on you. Because it will get to a point where you cannot take it anymore. Your Christian faith that you're pushing will be threatened, will be questioned. And you find yourself reacting. That's just a human nature. So, but as it depends on you, you have to pursue peace. Pursue the peace. If the peace is not coming, you leave it and go to, again, it's all about you. You have to protect, guard your own salvation. If the environment is not going to help you to not sin or to break away with, then it's best to just find a way out of it. Because again, as it depends on you, everyone has a capacity that they can carry.
Thank you very much. So for me, I think how to love someone that's being difficult is loving God. If you love God, there is no way, if the love of God is inside of you, you're not going to love somebody. Because God, like Samuel said, God did not love us when we were perfect. He's not even looking for us to be so perfect. He loved us while we were yet sinners. So loving the person that is difficult is not dependent on the character of the person. It's just who you are. God is love and He's in us. So it's just who you are. You just love that person. And loving someone that is difficult or loving someone doesn't mean that they are your friends. It doesn't mean that you should try to be friends with someone that is difficult or try to be friends with everybody because you love everybody. It just means doing your part as a Christian to ensure that that person receives the love of God. In every situation, you guys have to work together. That is just it. So being at peace with that person, as much as it depends on you, you're not going to go out of your way to make sure that you people are friends. We always work together. When you have to work together, do everything that you have to do. If he talks back, you just keep quiet. Turn the other cheek. And because the love of God is inside you, it wouldn't get to you too much. And it's okay to be upset. The love of God doesn't mean that you're not going to be upset. God can get angry, so that means we too can get angry. In a relationship too, you get upset. It's fine. Take it to God in prayer. Talk to Him. Father, this person is upsetting me. Give me the grace to endure. That's just it. So,
yeah, thank you very much. That's deep. We are talking about master and we, the boss. Don't forget that sometimes it can be the other way around. All right? If you have a Christian master and you are a Christian servant, or maybe, or a non-Christian servant, or let's say you're a Christian master, you have a non-Christian servant, and he's doing some funny things, and he knows that you are a Christian. You understand? So the same thing applies. As a master, that was what the Bible says in Colossians and Ephesians. Master, do this to your servant. Servant, do this to your master. So by the grace of God, most of us will become masters. All of us will become masters. Mm-hmm. So, and when we have subordinates that are behaving funnily, we shouldn't, and we still want to have our Christian, maintain our Christian integrity and calling and all these things, let's always remember Jesus and Judas. For me, one of the most difficult relationships in the Bible was that of Jesus and Judas. Jesus knew that Judas would be the one that would kill him. And Judas would still be smiling, would still be doing master, master, master. Oh, and Jesus, as you rightly said, Jesus can't commit sin. He can't hate him. All right? The love that Jesus had for Judas was not transactional, you know.
Independent.
Yeah, so let's understand that, look, the Bible has case studies of virtually all scenarios that we come across. Let's always learn to go back to the Bible for grace, to love, and to live peaceably with all men. Even in the church. Oh, in the church. You know, it's different if it is Christian and non-Christian. But in the church, some people would like behaving some funny things that and you say, but I thought you're a brother. I thought you're a sister. Except in a relationship. Although those of us who are dating, when we begin to see that this person is becoming difficult, I think it's a sign that God is telling us, don't dare go there. Alright? Don't let us be too blind. I love you, I don't care. That will be so serious. May the Lord help us in Jesus.
Amen. So any more questions about anything that's been bothering you in your Christian life? You can write it down, you can tell me. Any questions? Did you have a question? Samuel, do you have a question? So no question. Alright, so next we're going to just take a brief exhortation from Mr. Michael and then just tell us, encourage us, and
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
I mean, I really must appreciate all of us, particularly our guests, a wonderful couple, in addition to our ministry, and all of us, and those of us who will be watching the presentation later on. I remember what she told me is to kind of summarize Genesis to Deuteronomy. By the way, the idea of the Bible Club, I mean, for our visitors, we had the Bible conference sometime in February, which is linked to our weekly Bible study, because as a church, we meet every Wednesdays online for a Bible study. I remember last year, February, we started with Genesis, and we ended Malachi, January, book by book, expanding it, talking about it. And to celebrate that 1 year of Bible study, here downstairs we had our first Budapest Bible conference. During the conference, we said that one of the outcome of the conference is that the conference should give birth to a Bible club that will serve as a continual channel, because there's no point spending money on a conference, do a program, and there's no continuity. All right, so this is why the Bible club thing came out from, and from there we have our sister who is like the moderator, posting Bible scriptures online, and it's been transforming people's life. I do hear some comments, even because it's a social platform, such as Facebook, Instagram, and the rest. People read it, they get encouraged, and they get edified. So, when we studied when we study the Bible on Wednesdays, we try to talk more of the case studies, stories, references in the Bible. Okay, so she gave me the task of re-explaining Genesis to Deuteronomy. For me, the Torah is important. I got much more connected 2 weeks ago when I was in Israel. I felt, okay, all these things we'll read, sometimes we need to have like a feel, a closer connection, For me, I don't like putting on all this stuff, but I fell in love with this one when I went to Israel. And I saw it and I said, what is this? So I told being an Hebrew, she said, oh Michael, this is the most important prayer in Israel. All right, that is, oh God of Israel, hear our prayer. I said, look, I need that. I'm being brown as well, I just put it on. So when he saw it in my hand today, he said, Michael, I know that. Because he's studying Hebrew as well. I said, oh, now I have every reason to just get it. Anyway, for me, Genesis, the 50 chapters in Genesis. By the way, I like that presentation. I mean, I'm sure you must be a German or a Swedish or an American. The way you present the Bible. There is need for us to bring the Bible alive. One of the reasons for the Bible Club is to bring the Bible alive. Listen, guys, a lot is going on in most churches. Most pastors are not preaching the entire Bible anymore. They are more or less inspirational preachers. Some who are too spiritual, they go into healing and deliverance. And now church pulpits are more or less like a display of occultic expression of power. Somebody screaming, somebody shouting. Fine, I'm not saying those things are wrong if they are from God. But what we should go home with in every church, as every Christian, is the undiluted Word of God. So the idea of the Bible Club is to promote and encourage Christians to please read the Bible and to simplify the Bible. When I was in secondary school, one of the subjects I did not like at all is further mass. You know, what is further mass? You know, further mass is so complicated until somebody now gave me, I think, a kind of a simple book that simplifies further mass. I said, oh, so you mean further mass can be this simple? Then also the subject of holiness, because I used to attend one of the holiness church in Nigeria. So, and the preacher then, he wrote a book, Holiness Made Simple. You know, honestly, we need templates that can kind of simplify these things to us. God is not a complicated God. He's not a dogmatic God. He wants us to understand Him. So the Bible Club is just to simplify the Bible so that one will fall in love with it. Two, it will arouse our interest. 50 chapters in Genesis. The major, if I'm to do that presentation, the key thing in Genesis are chapter 1 and chapter 2 talk about creation. All right? Chapter 3 talks about man, the beginning of a relationship, Adam and Eve. All right, how they got it wrong. And chapter 4 as well. Chapter 5 gave us a summary of from Adam to Abraham. Then chapter 6, chapter 7, and 8 gives us the issue of Babylon and the rest. Now from chapter 9, Noah came in. All right, from chapter 9, chapter 10 to chapter 11 is all about the flood, about Noah. Then, the key person in Genesis, after Adam, is Abraham. All right? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. See, because when you remember these characters, you can be able to connect the story. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. That will summarize the second part of Genesis for you. Then Exodus. When you see Exodus, see four main things. The Passover, all right? Now, also the crossing of the Red Sea, because the Passover led to the crossing of the Red Sea, all right? After the Israelites crossed over the Red Sea, they became a nation. And when they became a nation, there was need for God to give them a law. Exodus 19. Now, Exodus 19, 20, 21, 22, up to 23 or thereabout, the law and the explanation. Then the fourth thing in Exodus is the tabernacle. All right. So Exodus has the Passover, the crossing of the Red Sea, the giving of the law, and the description of the tabernacle. Leviticus has two divisions. The first division gives us the various peace offerings, you know. We have the peace offering, we have the trespass offerings. All these offerings are just code whereby we can relate with God. If you have sinned, God put it there. Okay, you have done this. I'm not going to throw you away. Go to the priest. Tell them to tell you what to do. Then they go to the priest. The priest will tell them, oh, are you poor or are you rich? Say you are poor. All right, go and buy 30 dove, 7 30 dove, and slaughter it. And it's just a code of living. The priest will not tell a rich man to go and buy 30 dove. Why? Because he has money to buy. All right, something similar to what the Catholics do. You sin, you go to the priest, and the priest will tell you, go and read 10 Hail Mary. That's for Catholics. We have to respect them for that. I don't have anything wrong. I don't have any issue with that. Then numbers. Numbers is important for every Christian because the record of Numbers is an account of how the Israelites journeyed from the wilderness to the promised land. From the wilderness to the promised land. It is in Numbers that you will read how the Israelites complained against God. They complained against Moses. They complained against what God has given to them. Oh, why did he bring us here? Oh, Moses, you think you are the holy person. Oh, and immediately we see there how God gave them instant judgment. In Numbers as well, we see how the Moabites enticed the Israelite male to have sexual relationship with their ladies, because when Belial wanted to curse them, all right, he couldn't curse them because he said, listen guys, and listen king, these people, Numbers 23 verse 23, there is no magic that can work over these people. He said, but I know what I will do, or I can suggest to you. Please tell them, let your ladies entice the male. When they do that, the Israelite male, they will lust after them, they will commit sexual relationship with them, then the magic can be able to work. And that was exactly what happened. So every Christian must case study the book of Numbers to learn, to receive instructions. Like we're talking about dressing. Why? Christian ladies should at least be careful so that in your dressing you will not seduce others to fall into immorality. Yeah. So that is for Numbers. It's very important for us to read. Then Deuteronomy. I mean, he said it's his favorite. I don't know why. but the issue of Deuteronomy is Deuteronomy means the second law. It's not as if it's a new law entirely. It's just a recap of the law. Moses was they were about to reach the promised land, but he only had Joshua and Caleb. The rest that left Egypt had died in the wilderness. The ones that were in Deuteronomy were born in the wilderness. So they weren't there when the first law were given. So Moses needed to recap the law to them. All right? So that is what Deuteronomy is all about. So I pray that as we read this Bible, watch out for instructions, for warning, for case studies, for blessing. The Lord will help us in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was worth the time. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've come to the end of the first edition of the Budapest Bible Club meeting. I don't know about you guys, but I love this meeting. I don't know if you guys love it too. Yes, okay, thank you. So for the next meeting, we will inform you of when we will hold the next meeting. Please like our Facebook page and Instagram. And for those of you watching this right now, you can drop your comments and we'll get the answers to you. And so I think that's about it. Thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it.